Hello, you! How are you doing? I'm Matt, obviously, and this is part of my wider Patreon thing. Kind of asked you guys if you want to basically be my part-time employer, which is awkward. But obviously, in return, these weekly videos will be a part of it for anyone who's a proper kind of funder. Yeah, mother funder. Anyway, the way it will work in the future with these videos is they will be unlisted YouTube videos that will be posted on the Patreon page for people who are benefit spongers, as we're calling them. Calling you? I'm calling you a benefit sponger. Oh, I do amuse myself, if nobody else. Obviously, I'm aware that the internet exists, which means obviously an unlisted YouTube video is not exactly definitely just for you. People can find the links that they want. So I thought what I'd try and do to get around that, rather than having some crazy private YouTube channel that will require so much admin that it will make everybody involved want to die, I will do a special thing. So on the Patreon page, only people who are patrons will be able to ask questions, and every week I'll spend a bit of time going through and answering questions that you guys have specifically posed. And obviously I'll still do that in other formats. You know, if you ask me a question on Twitter, I'll still answer you, maybe. But with this, it means I can maybe spend a bit more time, go into a bit more detail. And if people want to ask me really specific things about anything really in terms of how I produce videos or why I've done certain things, it means I'll actually be able to take time to answer you properly, and maybe even kind of maybe do examinations, show you the things, not examinations, demonstrations. I knew it ended with Asians. It's fine. Anyway, what am I up to at the moment? Well, obviously I've been unemployed now for about 2 weeks. It's been interesting. It's not too bad so far. I found myself very busy, but not actually really earning any money. The most difficult thing I've found so far is working out when in the day to eat my Twix. I'm only allowing myself 1 Twix a day, which I think is rather grown up of me. I think you'll agree. Other than that, I've just been trying to get things rolling, really. Obviously, as this is kind of a business meeting, I've got the shirt on, but also I'll give you an idea, a little tour of my current setup. It's pretty poor. This is my bedroom. It's also my office and my games room and my lounge. Pretty lo-fi kind of guy, as you may be surprised or not surprised. Best way to show you what's going on is with this old bad boy. All my days is a mirror. So you can see now that's the recording on the screen happening right now, and above my screen there you can see I've managed to perch an SLR on top of the screen, and this is a microphone. It's a Yeti Blue. It's a very nice bit of gear. It's resting on a beanbag because it stops the reverberations from the table. I've bought myself a nice pop cap. And over there you can see tripods, my bed. This is where the tragic happens, just over there. And then over here, it's just rubbish as well. You notice I've got guitar. I can't play guitar, but I've got one, just like most men in their late 20s. So yeah, what am I working on at the moment? Well, bits and bobs. I've got a little bit of work potentially coming up, which is nice. I have signed a contract with The Escapist. I'm doing them a little series that's running for a while. Obviously, I'm still doing the Shut Up and Sit Down stuff, which is sort of like, that's great fun. I love board games. I'm doing that stuff. But yeah, I'm hopefully going to have a bit of regular work coming in. But really the whole point of this is the fact that I'm kind of at a stage where if everything goes to plan in terms of me being able to get these kind of maybe regular part-time gigs for a couple of websites, I won't be making much money, but I'll be making enough money to almost sort of pay my rent and sustainably live and all that stuff. So really, the big plan was, I thought, well, once I've got that, what's the next step? And I thought, well, I can either get more work, which won't be a problem, but, you know, I thought it might be nice to try and do something like this. Just because, I guess, I haven't explained this in the video in much depth, but the issue is that I've made some very popular work in the past, and I'm not trying to pretend that I need anyone's money, and I don't want anyone to feel like this is an ultimatum, but some of the work I do that's really popular, obviously everybody wants that. So I'm having lots of conversations with lots of different companies, but really what it boils down to is people go, we love these videos, can you make these videos for us? And that's fine, but it kind of feels like if I'm not careful, I'm going to end up spending all of my time making the really, really popular videos that do very well and are very time and energy intensive, and all the kind of mad little things, or the just in-depth critiques or examining things or talking about the industry, all these things that really, they don't appeal to a wider group of people. that stuff I'm just not going to have time to do. And I was trying to think, how can I justify the time? And this seemed like the best way. I thought if I can get a handful of people who like that stuff to maybe just give me a couple of quid a month, I can do it. And luckily, because I'm a cheap date, won't cost anybody a lot of money. But we'll see. In terms of what else am I doing for the rest of this week, well, I made today a video about Irrational Games and the fact that Ken Levine's moving on and what I thought about that. There's a few angles to that story. It's a really odd one. Really took me by surprise. And I've got some other stuff I'm working on at the moment. I've got a really stupid video I'm working on. Hopefully it'll be funny. It's to do with Dota 2 and the fact that when you pick a character in Dota 2, you can spin the character model around by wheeling on the mouse, and it makes the character model spin around really mentally, and it's quite funny. So I'm trying to work out what to do with that. I'm thinking maybe the Dota 2 Spinny Olympics or something, and doing some false kind of commentating. Oh, look at this, it's a fantastic bit of spin. Oh, how beautiful. I haven't really worked that one out yet. It's kind of on the back burner. Another thing that's on the back burner is I like the idea of bringing back Don Mattrick as a character somehow. I'm just trying to work out how. Maybe have him reviewing games. Maybe have him doing a Let's Play with me. I could have me and Don playing something. Obviously, it would be false because we are the same person. So I've been toying with that idea. And I've also got just... another... I've kind of got lots of things I want to do at the moment. I'd like to do something to do with Titanfall. I've played that a bit, but I feel like I'm kind of a bit of a granddad on that. I've played it a bit, but I feel like, I don't know, I'm not maybe with it enough to really have a kind of properly in-depth thought on it, just because it is kind of still that fast-paced, twitchy online shooter. And it's a good one, don't get me wrong, but it's still one of those. But then again, maybe that's the point. Maybe the point is to say something like that, make a video about that. I've also got my hands on Castlevania 2 Lords of Shadow 2, Double Shadows, and I'd like to play that a bit and make a video about that because some very mixed responses to that, and I was a massive, massive fan of the original game. So if you are interested in knowing about that, do bother me to do that, and I've also got a code for Strider, which I've heard very good things about as well, so I want to check that out. But at the moment, this week, kind of busy. I'm not really sure I can justify that much time to actually play games. God, what's wrong with me, eh? I haven't got a job, and I should be able to... Anyway, we'll worry about that. I think that's about it. Obviously, Dark Souls 2 is coming out really soon. Dark Souls 2 comes out March 14th, which is my birthday. So, yeah, I'll definitely be streaming some Dark Souls 2 on my birthday. How much? How long? And why? Who knows? It's kind of tricky. I'd be interested to know what you guys think about that, actually, because... Firstly, I'm not sure how I feel about streaming, in the fact that part of me goes, it's a really quick and easy way of making videos. But the other part of me goes, well, it's sort of neither here nor there, you know? It's not 100% entertaining because I can't concentrate on being entertaining. But then there's no real entertainment value from me playing the game well either, because I can't play games well and talk at the same time. So... I don't know, I just kind of find playing competitive games and trying to stream them quite frustrating because I feel like my desire to be not terrible at the game doesn't overlap well with my desire to not be entirely boring. So, yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about streaming. Because I'll be honest, I like the idea of streaming some Dota, but I kind of realise maybe what I want is to be able to just play Dota and, you know, like... I think, you know, a lot of people sometimes say, I want to work in games, and really what they mean is they want to play games and get paid to play games. And as much as I maybe have tried to work out a way of doing that, I think the answer still remains the same of you can't do that. However, Dark Souls, Pantsman, of course, Pantsman's coming back, and we will do that one way or another. But I guess the question I have is, do people want to watch it on launch day? You know, I'm going to try and play through the game for my first time in Pants, but will people want to watch it? Will they want to experience it themselves first? Maybe I should wait a couple of weeks before I kick it off. I don't know. That's a tricky one. And I'd be interested to know what you guys think. And also, like, I haven't worked out exactly how we're going to do it, but obviously if we can get the funding on my Patreon, I am going to be doing a kind of monthly look at least one game, like a really in-depth examination. So if you see my videos about BioShock Infinite and The Last of Us that I did when I was at videogamer.com, then yeah, basically that. Although, as you'll notice, one of the things on my to-do list is to maybe sort out something here, because the camera I've got is quite nice, the microphone I've got is quite nice, but I haven't got a green screen. My bedroom / office / lounge is pretty small, and although I'm moving out in a couple of months, that should make it easier, hopefully, if this is still happening. I mean, obviously, this whole thing is very much up in the air, but if I am still doing this stuff in the next few months, I would like to sort myself out with those things. And green screen obviously would be great for that sort of thing, but also great just for the fact that it's lots of fun. I could go to space. I could do whatever I want, do more skit stuff. I think that's about it at the moment. Like, because I'm not really doing that much stuff at the moment, because I'm just trying to work out a way of getting everything lined up. And this really is more just an example of what it will be like, because if this does work, and I know it's a big ask, because obviously, as I say in the Patreon vid, it's this thing of me going, I'd like to sustainably be able to make stupid YouTube things or intelligent YouTube things, but whatever it is aimed at adults and not playing the YouTube game and not having to do Minecraft Let's Plays and all that stuff and not having to just put up raw gameplay footage and do all the cynical crap that YouTube is full of and you need to do to a degree to get by. I kind of feel cheeky asking you guys to help me make this sustainable, but I've spent a long time trying to look for any other alternative, and there aren't any good ones. You either do plain up sponsorship stuff, which is always a bit iffy unless you can get a great sponsorship that doesn't affect you in any way, or it's a mess. It's a real mess, and I'm kind of trying to work out a way of doing stuff for the people who already like my stuff in a way that isn't taking the piss out of you, but is also sustainable. And I think that not taking the piss out of you is the most important thing. This isn't like some, no offense if you like Penny Arcade, but this isn't some Penny Arcade, give me $50,000 and I'll make you a podcast. I'm really trying to keep this as lo-fi as possible, and I'm aware that I don't really need that much money in order to be able to sustainably give you guys a little bit of time every week. And you know what, if it may just be 2 or 3 days a week. It may be less sometimes, it may be more sometimes, but just to make sure I can keep doing this stuff and keep creating stuff that's different, the sort of things that you just don't find anywhere else. And if I do end up getting more money than I need, that will be great, because it means I'll be able to actually like get other people involved. There are so many people in this industry who I think are incredibly talented and funny and interesting, and there just isn't an outlet for stuff like the stuff that I make. Well, there is to a degree. Obviously, Video Gamer is still doing it, but I couldn't work out anything with them. I needed not to work 5 days a week for various reasons in an office. It wasn't really working with me. And yeah, I think we've got an opportunity to do something different here and something new. And I'm really excited by it. And I think that if you do like the sound of this and you'd like to keep me going in the same way I've been going, then do have a think about donating to the Patreon. Finally, though, I will be doing a Q&A video, because obviously in the future, if it bloody happens, this stuff will be just for people who are part of the Benefit Sponger Club. But this time, just an example, just fire away. You can ask a question here, you can fire it in the YouTube comments below, and I will create a Q&A video in the next day or so, basically answering your questions, just to give you an idea of basically what Benefit Spongers are going to get. Because I know it doesn't seem like much, and I'd love to have the infrastructure to say that anyone who funds me will get all this access to all this exclusive stuff and all this cool stuff. But to be honest, I don't know. Like, I am one man, and these big companies can promise you all this stuff that you can get and promise you all this access and exclusive content. I'm just one guy making stuff. And if I promise you I'm going to make you loads of stuff, then I'll just get to the same position I got to at the end of last year of just burning out from working too hard. So we'll get there. But in the meantime, this is just a simple offer and a simple pledge. If you like my stuff and you want to see it continue without any compromise, then consider it. Anyway, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a lovely day. I'm going to have a cup of coffee and a Twix. I'm not sponsored by Twix. It's part of this, you know. I want to be able to just eat Twixes and Magnums without actually having to be paid by the people who make Twixes and Magnums. That's the dream, isn't it? Isn't that what we all want? I don't know. Bye!